Iran regrets it and desperately wants to buy the J-10C and the PL-15E air-to-air missiles. It changes its attitude faster than turning the pages of a book. On November 24, 2024, Iran said that the J-10C wasn't worth buying. Facing the pressure from the U.S. aircraft carriers and Israel's F-35 stealth fighter jets, who did Iran want to buy fighter jets from? It wanted to buy the Russian Su-35 fighter jets and thought that the Su-35 was much better than the J-10C. So Iran started negotiating with Russia about purchasing the Su-35. However, now the Pakistanis launched the PL-15 from the J-10C and shot down 3 Rafale fighter jets without suffering any losses themselves. What's more, 2 of the Rafale fighter jets were shot down just 35 kilometers away from the airport where they took off. To put it bluntly, they were shot down before they could even leave their home ground. So how could they fight this war? Right? You can't even find where the opponent is. So how is India supposed to fight? There's no way to fight. Moreover, even the Russian Su-30 Mki and the renowned MiG-29 have been shot down. So Pakistan has achieved a complete victory in this air battle with the J-10C. It is said that India actually dispatched 12 Rafale fighter jets and 72 fighter jets of various types. It originally wanted to become famous in one battle. However, this huge formation of aircraft was detected by the Pakistani ground radar as soon as it took off. Pakistan knew clearly how many aircraft there were and in which direction they were. So Pakistan quickly ordered its early warning aircraft to take off. This early warning aircraft is the ZDK-03 type imported from China. It can track and lock onto 100 targets simultaneously. That is to say, as soon as these 84 Indian fighter jets took off, they were all locked by it. After the J-10C took off with the PL-15, it didn't even need to turn on its fire control radar. I think this is the main reason for the defeat of the Indian Air Force. The J-10C is guided by the early warning aircraft, which tells it which direction to fly and where the enemy aircraft are. It's like the Indian fighter jets are in the open while the Pakistani fighter jets are in the dark. The Indian fighter jets don't have the capability to target the Pakistani early warning aircraft. So what is the relationship between this and Iran's request to purchase the J-10C and the PL-15E air-to-air missiles? Moreover, Iran has particularly emphasized its intention to buy the PL-15E this time, because it represents a brand new mode of air combat in the future, and its no-escape zone is extremely extensive. For the previous air-to-air missiles, they chased the fighter jets from behind. However, as long as the fighter jets have good maneuverability, they may be able to shake off the missiles with a large maneuvering turn. As for the PL-15, it uses a very advanced active electronically scanned array radar with a radar scanning surface of 20 by 20. A very prominent point is that it can calculate your escape route by itself. That is to say, it can figure out when you are going to make a turn. Therefore, its strike method is not just chasing you from behind. Instead, it can conduct cross-style strikes. That is, it can calculate your route in advance and wait for you at the crossroads, and strike you on the way. Many people say that the Rafale has quite strong maneuverability, and the delta wing layout is one of its characteristics, which is also its advantage, giving it strong maneuverability. But why couldn't it shake off the strikes from the PL-15? That's exactly the reason. Another thing is that the PL-15 has 2 engines. After the first ignition, it takes off and accelerates. Then, it flies by inertia in the middle. The second ignition occurs when it is 20 kilometers away from the target. At this time, it can continue to accelerate to Mach 5. Coupled with its ability to calculate the escape route by itself, whether it is the Rafale, the Su-30 Mk, or the MiG-29, as long as it is locked by the PL-15, there is simply no time window for escape. This is the reason why Iran has changed its attitude and wants to purchase the PL-15. It is worth mentioning that I suspect that after the Rafale fighter jet was locked by the PL-15, its radar warning device didn't work. The reason is that the active electronically scanned array radar has a long detection range. The PL-15 may have locked the Rafale when it was 70 to 80 kilometers away. At such a long distance, it is not enough to trigger the radar warning device on the Rafale, so the pilot didn't react and didn't know that the missile was approaching. There is a basis for this speculation. France said that it was because of the poor quality of the Indian Air Force pilots that the Rafale was shot down by the J-10C. But in my opinion, in fact, it is because their radar warning device is not sensitive to the active electronically scanned array radar of the PL-15. So the J-10C equipped with the PL-15 has really astonished the whole world this time. Therefore, Iran has regarded it as a savior after witnessing this. You know, the weakest aspect of Iran lies in its fighter jets. Its air force is not strong. It is still using the F-14, which has long been phased out by the United States. It has to make do with these outdated things. Just think about it, with these, how can it defend against Israel and the United States? That's why there has been news these days that Iran has regretted its previous decisions.